Welcome to another JournalNow.com high school football video coaches clipboard edition. My name is Joe Serrera, and I am joined today by East Forsyth Eagles head coach Todd Willert. Coach Willert, thank you so much for joining us again.
Always great, Joe. I really appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate everything. I mean, seriously, nobody understands how hard you work, and we do appreciate you, man.
Well, you guys work even harder, and proof of that is you're 9-0 overall, 6-0 in the CPC, heading into the last week of the regular season. The last time an East Forsyth team was 9-0 was 2018, unbeaten state championship team. At the same point in the season, if you can kind of take your mind back to there, how does this team stack up? It seems like, to me, there's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of similarities. Obviously, it starts out with quarterback. We had a great quarterback with Tyshawn Lyles at the time, and now we got a great quarterback with Jay Rayners. So, that's the obvious comparison right there. And then we had a lot of dudes, and we've got a lot of dudes on this team.
Yep.
And we had a great defense, and we've got a really, really good defense right now. But, we got a long ways to go, and we got a tough opponent ahead of us right now. West Forsyth is on fire. I think they're 4-5 in or 1-4 of the last 5 games, I believe. And obviously, with Adrian and his staff, they're coached so well. So we got to get to 10-0 before we get to those playoffs.
Yep, we'll come back to Coach Snow and the Titans in a minute. Where does this East team still need to improve in your mind to be playing the kind of football you want to play to make a run in the playoffs?
Well, I'm sure you're going to get sick of this answer because every time, but everybody keeps yelling, these penalties are killing us.
Yeah.
And, this time it wasn't so much holding penalties. It was false starts against Glenn. A couple holding penalties brought back some big touchdowns for us, but just got to clean those things up still. Mm-hmm. We're working on it. Sometimes it's just a fine line because we play so aggressive, and you don't want to tell your guys not to be aggressive, and the wide receivers block so hard. A lot of those holding calls come from our receivers, just because we block so hard downfield. So it's a fine line there. And we got fixed. We had a little issue against Glenn at the center spot with snapping. We haven't had an issue all year. Mm-hmm. And we had 16 bad snaps against Glenn. And that's rough. I think we ran 50-some plays, 60 plays, and had 16 bad. We got to get that fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about that fine line on the blocking. I mean, you don't get big plays running the ball downfield or even on quick throws to receivers without that blocking from your receivers. So you don't want to tell them to back off. You just want to tell them to not get caught or just clean it up as much as they can. And I can remember seeing some Dudley State Championship teams in the last few years that would get a lot of holding penalties on their offensive linemen because they were just so physical. And I think that's a little bit of it with your guys too. And refs see defensive players getting knocked down, and sometimes they're looking to see if there was a little bit of jersey or whatever. And I think as you go deeper in the playoffs, you're less likely to see that because everybody's going to be strong and physical. And anyway, that's me going off on a tangent. We always end up talking about Jalen Rayner. It seems like when we talk about your guys, more than 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns passing, more than 1,000 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. I mean, getting ahead of ourselves. And he's not the all-state quarterback. I don't know what's going on, but what makes him so special?
His work ethic off the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he works harder. I mean, maybe than any kid I've ever had here. We've had some, this, Joe. We've had great football players here, but he does all the little things, and that starts in the classroom, in the community. Our teachers love him. He does all those things. He is a great, outstanding young man. I mean, just a great human being, and I think that's what carries him over. And in tough times, he's just so prepared. And it doesn't really get him, I can finally talk about this. He finally threw his first 2 interceptions. I didn't want to talk because I didn't want to jinx him. 29 touchdowns, I think, or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Threw 2 interceptions. One was a really bad one on his part. The other one, the kid from Glenn made a great play. Mm-hmm. But just he studies, he works hard, and good things happen to people that work really hard.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, in a couple of years, he could be going against Tyshawn Lyles. They're going to be in the same conference in
Yep.
the Sun Belt with Ty being down in Coastal Carolina and Jalen heading to Arkansas State. That could be a lot of fun to watch. I could see you if you could make it happen, going to Arkansas to see that happen.
Oh, no doubt about that. I'd pack Katie and the kids up, and we'd be rolling. And we might take a week off on that one. I might have to have Horton or Bill take over the coaching duties for that.
Coaching waiting. I hear you. Two receivers now, Javante Connor, Keyshawn Brown, who missed some time with over 1,000 yards receiving. Somebody has to catch those passes from Jalen, but it seems like they've really, both of them, gotten better as the year's gone on and just gotten really comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, Q's stats are a little off just because, we held him out. I don't think he played the first 2 or 3 weeks. And, we had to get Javante kind of, into the offense. We kind of moved him to tight end, H-back, which he wasn't playing where he came from. So, but great guys, want to learn, good kids once again. And Jalen Rayner trusts them. They're kind of on the same page, and that makes a big deal. Coach Vaughn and Horton do a good job of getting those guys the ball. But, the tough thing, once again, with Jalen Rayner is you never know. He'll throw it to anybody. You know what I mean? And I think that helps in Connor and Q Brown's game because you can't just focus on them because Jay Rayner can throw to Ronnie or to Holland or these other guys we have out there. So I think that really makes Q so dangerous because you can't really double team Q because we got so many other guys.
Yep.
And if you don't double team Q, he catches that ball, he makes things happen. And obviously Connor's become a big-time player. He's a big kid, 230, 240. It's hard to tackle him. So those two are just playing outstanding right now.
You mentioned your defense, 3 straight shutouts. Who's playing well and what's going well on that side of the ball with Coach Beal and his group?
Yeah, I mean, our quarterback over there, R.J. Brown.
Yep.
He's to me the best defensive player we've had here in a while. Once again, we've had some great players. But defensively, every week he's making plays, whether it's blocking a punt, blocking a PAT, pick 6 last week. I mean, he just gets it done. He understands. He's a leader. And then you have Matthew Joins, our other guy, our free safety. And to have those 2 guys there get it going and to kind of be the leaders. And then you had Nick Martin on our front line. I think he's got 10 sacks this year. It's just tough, man. Our defense, we got a lot of dudes. My defensive staff does a great job. Coach Wicker does a great job at linebacking. Our linebacker coach with RJ. So just a lot of leadership on that defense right now and a lot of team speed, and that helps.
Yep. You mentioned the West Forsyth Titans a little bit earlier. They've won 4 or 5. You said they're hot. Their one loss was 42-39 to Reagan. So, the team that's going to finish second in the conference, they're clearly playing their best football of the season. What do you see when you look at Coach Snow's Titans right now?
Me and Adrian talked a lot at the beginning of the year. It's a tough time for him. We just talked how crazy our friendship has got that you'd think I'd probably be spitting on him about 15 years ago and happy that he's losing. But we were talking, early, and I said, man, just hang in there because you know what you're doing, and the guys are going to buy in and you're young.
Didn't suddenly forget how to coach football. He's a darn good football coach.
Yeah, and now my words are kind of biting me a little bit, maybe, because they are. His staff and him have gotten these guys playing. His kids did not give up when a lot of times, people would have thrown in the towels after that preseason. And he's got them rolling right now. And I knew this would happen, and this is why we like playing them at the end of the year because we need to have good teams to be playing Glenn and them at the end of the year to get ready for this playoff run. So, I'm happy in a way that we're going to get a very, very, very good West Forsyth team on Friday to help us get ready for that third phase of the playoffs.
Well, two great rivalry games back to back to finish the season. That's a really cool thing, the way the schedule falls in your conference. But anybody in Forsyth County on Friday night wants to see a great football game, Freddie Lewis Stadium, the Nest is the place to be. West Forsyth, East Forsyth, doesn't get any better than that. We wish you luck in that game and going forward the rest of the season.
Hey, thanks for everything.